Hey everybody, you're now listening to Cup of Queens with Paige and Saray, and today I'm so excited. We are talking with Patty Post, who is the owner, CEO, and founder of Checkable Medical, and Patty is doing so many cool things. She has her very own supplements. She talks with us all about what they do, how they can make you healthier, and so much more.
Patty is an entrepreneur, to say the least. Like, she has done so many different businesses, and Checkable Medical is a way to bring at-home testing to families who don't want to spend hours in a doctor's office. And to hear from Patty talk through just her experience creating this business, her brand, and doing it all while being a mother was inspirational beyond belief.
It was so inspiring. I can't wait for everybody to hear it, so grab your cup and enjoy. We're so excited. Thank you so much for coming on our podcast. Yeah. So we have Patty Post, who is the owner and founder of Checkable Medical, and she's here to tell us all the things. So tell us about yourself. Tell us how you got into the healthcare business and all that.
Well, I got into healthcare really right out of college. I worked for an ophthalmology company. And super fascinating because I was in customer service, ran customer service, worked with the reps, worked with the founder of the company, and then worked with surgeons, surgery centers, and then understood how it benefited the patient. So from the, it comes into a warehouse to the end result of seeing the patient, I just thought that was super interesting. And everyone if you have a grandma or a grandpa, they probably had cataract surgery. Mm-hmm. And so seeing that of the impact that's really what touched me and got me excited about healthcare. And then through that, I actually didn't go right into medical. I went into business development with UPS. And you think of UPS like, oh, it's like a shipping company.
Yeah.
And like kind of weird. But if you think about it from a business development standpoint, you have, what's the other company that you think of when you think of FedEx?
FedEx.
I just told you.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Exactly. So FedEx, and then DHL came in the market. And so I learned about really the logistics side of business. And then I had still a burning passion for healthcare. So I actually started the healthcare marketing group at UPS and then the healthcare supply chain group.
Wow.
And then I left and went to medical device sales. So that's where my passion came in. So I would sell life-saving devices to products that were used in surgeries, to drills that were used for surgeries by the surgeon. And so it's kind of being in the belly of the hospital, underground, trying to get in to see surgeons. Once you get in to see the surgeon, then you're sitting in the OR for hours and hours and hours, selling, representing your company, tons of medical training. So I just always looked at it as like the highest sale that you could have. And you have to be super smart, you're on your game, hyper competitive, and then I got recruited to a research organization.
Okay.
And that's where I'm like, okay, how did this product, that's where I learned how the product got from an idea through the process to actually be in a hospital, which is years and multi-millions of dollars. I also look at this of Checkable. When I started, I knew it was going to be the hardest thing ever because healthcare is just extremely hard.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'm just that big of a risk taker or if I'm super naive or I just am super ambitious. And I think it's a combination of all those things. But it's a challenge. You make a difference in people's lives in healthcare. And I know that healthcare needs to be fixed so drastically. And it impacted me personally when I was doing consulting. And I mean, throughout as being a mom, I was a young mom at 23. And so when my kids were getting strep throat, it was like constantly running into the doctor. And I don't know about your significant others, but mine does not take the kids to the doctor, even though I've been the breadwinner. And so I was burdened of this, of like, why do a strep throat test is the same as a pregnancy test.
Really?
The same technology.
That's interesting. Okay.
That's crazy.
Right?
I've never heard
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
So, like, how is it the same?
So, a COVID test is the same. So, it's called a lateral flow, and it's just that little strip. And a UTI test.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just this little strip, and it has the technology of it is it takes a media, which is urine, or which is you have your sample of back of the throat, or else with a COVID test you have up the nose, and then you have to use, it's called a reagent, to make you put them together, and then they go on the strip, and laid on the strip is the identifier, the antibodies or antigens that will light up and tell you if you're positive or negative. And so for each indication, it's different. But that technology is not available in the home. And I believe that there is so much that is used in clinic now and even in hospitals that can be brought once a person is trained and is confident, then they are more likely to use something successfully. And I think there's a lot of technology that can go into the home.
Yeah.
And so that's really my passion, is changing healthcare for the better. So it's accessible for people like us.
Yeah.
And women make 87% of the healthcare decisions. So that's why my company has this pink, and we're focused on women, because we're the ones. Like, if you brought something home to your significant others, to, like, for me, for my family, a line of vitamins, let's say, be like, okay, we're all taking these. They'd be like, okay, well, mom says so.
Right.
Sounds good.
So we're going to do it. Yeah.
Note of approval. If mom says, it's good to go.
Yeah.
Totally.
That is really cool. And so I'm sure some of our listeners aren't fully aware. Give us kind of an overview of what Checkable Medical is and what it is, all that you guys cover, because it's a wide range of things.
Yeah. Yep. So we still are a startup. We've only been around for 2 years, and we have, our mission is to empower people, the average person, with the freedom to diagnose their symptoms from the comforts of home. And that's through the use of diagnostics and virtual care and the ability to get a prescription from the comforts of a home as well. So the big, like, hairy, scary, audacious goal is moving 100 million visits from the clinic into the home by 2027.
Wow.
And I think it's completely doable with what our product roadmap is. So looking at our products, we have Optimize and Optimize Your Health. So you're already healthy, but how do you get healthier? That's where our supplements come in. So we have ashwagandha with black pepper. We have a collagen supplement. We have the apple cider vinegar, a sleep well gummy. And then in our Prevent, we have the UTI Prevent. So that's just a daily pill if you're prone to UTIs, or if you're going on vacation and you are going to be swimming in the ocean, or whatever it is that triggers your UTIs. And then we have the diagnostics. So we are coming out with the UTI rapid test. So immediate results, within 5 minutes. And then for sure the strep test. And I'm not sure the next line, if we're going to do a pregnancy and then an ovulation test for more of the fertility.
Yeah.
Stand that up. Those are widely available, but to have a whole suite of product offerings. And then those lab developed tests. So a lab developed test means you take the sample at home and then you put it back in a bag, and then you send it to a lab.
Sure.
They interpret the results. They run it on big readers. Think of a big lab with lab coats. And then they get the results. They send it in back to us, and we have a physician review it, and then you get your results back. And then you'll have a meeting with a physician.
Nice.
If you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that Checkable Medical, we are all things health. But if you think of health, it's not just going into the hospital. And I wanted to make it everything accessible. And as our team grows, the content grows. We're starting a podcast as well, the Wellness Essentials podcast.
Okay, exciting.
Cool. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
And we want it to be a place where you think, okay, well, I have my supplements. I want my newsletter from Checkable. What are they talking about? How is daylight savings going to affect me? And what can I be doing? Even checking out our social media for more entertainment, and then some education here and there, like things your mom never taught you is a segment that we have, or things that my mom did tell me that are totally wrong.
I love that you're positioning yourself too, not only as, I mean, you're being a resource too for people.
Yes,
whether they utilize your services or not, you know, you're there when they need you.
Yes,
totally. I think that's really great.
And we want it to be approachable. And I think that's a really hard thing with healthcare right now too, is that a doctor will tell you something and we trust them so much. They're so brilliant, highly educated. But unfortunately, the demands on healthcare and on physicians, they are not as approachable, and they don't know you, right? You know you, and you should feel empowered to say, wait, I don't know if this is a treatment that I need.
Yeah.
You know, do I need a second opinion? Or, you know, I heard this experience. I read about this experience. Maybe this is something I can do. I see that we are moving towards healthcare that is like that. That's more approachable.
It's so awesome that you were able to mesh all of these different areas from your life into something of your own.
Yes, totally.
But that had to have been so difficult. And like, the way you just explained it, it sounds like, oh yeah, we just decided this is a need. But what is it like to actually create all of that detail? And I mean, your website, your staff, how did you go about doing that?
Yeah. Well, I had lots of practice because I've done other startups before.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
So like what you're doing right now is preparing yourself for something bigger and better. Like I'm a firm believer of that when we are working on something small, we can't be small-minded about it, but we have to be very detailed about it and do the best that we can to execute. And then if it's not working after a certain time, we have to be very honest with ourselves of, okay, shut it down, move on.
Yeah.
Because not everything works. Like we have to fail a bunch before something comes together. So I had first a publishing company with my brothers and dad that we had acquired, and we redid the products, digitized them. They were math books. I hate math, but I hate it. And my dad has a PhD in math.
Oh my gosh.
And my other brother's a math teacher. And then my other brother actually sold in cataract lenses. He's in healthcare too. So that was not my
Too many numbers.
I feel like you would love math though, just given your industry. But
I like finance.
I was wrong. Okay.
Like I like finance. I like sales. I like it when those numbers are like college algebra, which I have a senior in high school and he's doing college algebra right now. I'm like, oh no, don't
tell me
the Pythagorean theorem.
I'm out.
Like, no, I'm out. So I would say I always give women advice that if you are thinking of starting something, I don't mean to be mean to anyone, but don't do a multi-level marketing bit. I think a lot of women get I think that's very discouraging.
Really?
I'm just not a fan of it. Like, I want to support people that do it because you're my friend and I'm going to buy from you.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone is really honest about it.
Sure.
Because it's really hard to get really big.
Yeah.
And you're ending up spending a lot of money and buying into something that, like, do you trust the products? And I feel like everyone does when they start. Like, I love this.
They're all in.
This is the best.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just not a fan. I think that you need to start like that. Like, start your own process of how you're going to do it and map that out and keep redoing it. Like, put a formula together and not rely on a big company to be doing, like, go get a job if you're gonna do it.
Right.
I don't know.
That's a really good point though, because it does, I'm sure it seems less risky to have that backing. And so, but it does make sense that, you might as well just go work somewhere then.
Yeah.
High risk, high reward.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know. It's probably easier said than done, but
It is. And I think that those that put in a full day's work, that are like, I'm going to do this every day from 7 to 7, and I'm going to commit 6 months to doing that. But what happens is we have a lot of women that are doing it here and there, and then they're filling up their social media feeds with, oh my gosh, I have this great new product. I want to show you guys all about it. And what happens to your friends? Your friends are like, oh, great. She
like,
wants
I'm
me
done with this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's really hard. And I want to encourage, I don't want to discourage anyone from following their ambition, especially women. I think that you should never stifle that. Unless it's like dancing on a pole. Like,
maybe not.
I'm not gonna say that you should do that. As my daughter is here, I'm like, don't do that. But I think that women have a lot of opportunities to break out and be a subject matter expert in things, and it doesn't have to come from that. But that's my own opinion.
Yeah.
So you talked a little bit about how you feel that healthcare needs to be fixed. So what are some of your goals or some of your hopes with what you're doing that ultimately led you to want to do this?
Well, having accessibility to healthcare is one thing that I've seen is easier said than done. And seeing all of the apps that are out there that we are adopting so quickly inspired me to think of how can just one indication, which is strep throat, how can we make that easier? And then I started to research how many other people had this same problem of during strep season going into the doctor. How long does the doctor's visit take? Like for me, it's about 2.5 hours.
It's a process.
2.5 to 4.
Yeah.
And that's annoying. Like I have a hard time getting my nail appointment in once every 2 weeks. I don't know about you.
Don't push it any further.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we have, your oil changes and the dentist. And once you start having multiple kids, then you're taking care of them and we're not taking care of ourselves. So I look at this as, okay, how many different things can we take from the clinic into the home? So strep is actually very challenging because how to collect a sample is cumbersome. It's hard because you have to take that throat sample and we have to train them. And so we've done a ton of research in that. But I look at how many things can I help mom or her not avoid going into the doctor. So like one right now, I just hired a new woman in product and are saying right now is your vagina can stay home. Because we're going to do an at-home pap smear.
What? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Say more.
Yeah. Continue.
Yep. So
Wow.
it is huge because there's so many women that you don't go in after you've had your kids. You're like, okay, well, I've had my babies. I don't need to go in anymore. You don't know if you've had HPV, and you might know that you might not even know that you have it because you haven't gone to get your annual checkups. Insurance companies are dropping the frequency of pap smears.
Really?
So some of them are only saying that you need it every 5 years. So what happens is then you start showing symptoms, you're bleeding or you have pain, and that means that you already have the onset symptoms of cervical cancer.
Really?
So
scary.
by the time that you already have it, that means you're already into a stage of cancer where you could have prevented that if you were checking yourself regularly.
Yeah.
If there's women that have multiple sexual partners or they have a spouse that has had multiple sexual partners, I mean, there's a lot that we don't pay attention to. And then women that have been a part of had been sexually abused or had a traumatic situation. Those events you really never get over, and they are triggered when you are in that setting.
Wow.
So it's a large majority of women, a large part of females don't ever go in to have an annual exam.
So you have an option right now, or that's in the works?
Yeah, so there's a product that's already created.
Okay.
And so we are we're going to bring it to market.
That is incredible. Hey everyone, we're going to take a quick break to highlight our sponsor of today's episode.
Joyful, honest, emotional, unscripted. These are a few words that make up Nicole Midwest Photography. Nicole Midwest is a Midwest-based photographer but is willing to travel anywhere for her clients to capture their true love.
Nicole prides herself on capturing wild love. She has been shooting weddings since 2017 and has a team of 8 behind her. Nicole Midwest also offers mini sessions. Check out her website, NicoleMidwest.com, to learn more.
So can you talk to us a little bit about what each of these supplements is and
Sure.
What they do?
Yeah, the collagen one, I'm like...
The collagen one I've been eyeing ever since you got here.
Some of that.
Yes. So the collagen is a
that.
really good collagen because we do have 4 different complexes of collagen in this. And so collagen, we know I think the hydration effect, and we know that when you're hydrated, you look younger. So that's why we say it's like the fountain of youth.
Sure.
It's really hydration, and it keeps you hydrated.
Okay.
And so it's more of a replenishing.
Yeah.
UTI prevent, the main ingredient is cranberry. So
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
For
is
like
good.
UTIs, that's always cranberry juice,
Yes.
cranberry
Yes.
pills, whatever it is.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's what we have here. So ashwagandha is actually my new fave. And ashwagandha with black pepper, which every body with supplements is different.
Okay.
And so I always think you should take a supplement on a very small amount of food to begin with. So you have just a little bit of yogurt or cottage cheese, banana, something. And then see how it affects you.
Sure.
And this is a funny story so ashwagandha, I take it in the morning and then I'll do it again in the afternoon. And I do it with collagen. And today I did it in the morning and then I open the pill and I put it in my water because that's sometimes when you ingest that way, it just has like a faster effect. So I was on the call with my team and I'm like, I'm going to do this. And I chugged it and then like literally half an hour later, I'm like bouncing off the walls. I'm going so fast. Yes, and I had so much energy. And I did have mental clarity.
Oh.
So 2 of my friends, I'm on this group chat, and they said, how's your day? And I waited a couple hours to reply, and I said, crazy. Like, I am buzzing because I took 2 ashwagandha and 1 sort of raw. And one of them said, oh, shit. I take ashwagandha before I go to bed. Maybe that's why
She's probably a night owl.
Yes, she hasn't been sleeping for the last 6 weeks.
No.
That's so bad.
And she thought she was in a hormone imbalance. And I think it's because she's been taking this at night. So it affects everybody different.
So what is the intended use for ashwagandha?
So there's 13 different ways that so it's been around for 3,000 years.
Okay.
Eastern medicine. It is a root and it's ground up.
Sure.
And it's from India. So paired with black pepper just means that it activates it. So the black pepper activates. And that's why I think, and I haven't done any research studies, but for my body, I think that's why you feel excited when you use it or more mental clarity. Mainly it's the de-stress.
Okay.
And it's that's the most benefit. And what that is it's cortisol that is in your brain. It reduces the cortisol effect.
So that is crazy that you're bouncing off the walls then, right?
I know. So for me, it's different. But then for others, it does increase testosterone, helps with muscle mass, recovery when you work out. So you see a lot of bodybuilders use it.
Okay, interesting.
And then, I mean, I don't have to work on fertility, but they say it helps with fertility.
Okay.
It helps with, like fertility, sexual performance for men. I mean, men can be using it too.
Really? Interesting.
Yes. It has been
really
used.
intrigues me because I feel like I have a hard time focusing on certain things, and I'm so forgetful. It's gotten worse.
It's gotten bad.
It has gotten
No, I'm just
bad.
kidding.
I feel like it has.
We
I
just
think
laugh
I just
about
have
it.
so much going on that I am like, okay, how do I,
Yeah.
But that might be something.
You should.
I should try.
Yeah. I'll
Like,
bring-
how do I compartmentalize all these,
Yes.
So,
I'm with you.
That's a good point, because honestly, I'm listening to all of these and I'm like, okay, I should have all of these. But is there a limit that people should have with supplements that I'm always like, what should you be getting from like food sources? What are you getting from food sources?
Yeah.
One of my good friends is a dietitian, so she's always talking me and says like, you need to just eat this, Saray. I'm like, I know, but the supplement looks like really fun.
Yeah.
So what is kind of a good balance, I guess?
Yeah. Well, I chose these supplements because it wasn't something I could find in food.
Yeah.
And so I think I agree with your nutritionist. I'm not a nutritionist, but leafy greens, bananas, as much, grapes, but they're really good for hydration, and watermelon.
Good to
So
know.
the two things to snack on
Yeah.
when you're trying to eat healthier.
Yeah. And
For
so
me.
the collagen is what you mentioned, which is really good for hydration,
Yes.
which a lot of people, if our listeners don't know this, because I didn't know this, but I mean, that's what a lot of people lean towards for skin benefits and anti-aging, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Is that why your skin looks so
Yeah,
good?
your skin looks
is so good.
Actually unbelievable.
It looks amazing.
Thank you so much. I go to the vanity bar.
As you should.
As you should.
As everyone should.
Amanda is my favorite, but I like Mandy too.
Oh my
but
gosh.
I see Amanda the most. Yeah, I like the vanity bar.
Yeah.
Okay, but so going back to these supplements,
Yeah.
because do you have is apple cider? Is
Yeah,
that
so
what that
apple
is?
cider vinegar, you have to try it.
Okay. I really did the apple cider vinegar like shot in the
Oh, yeah.
morning.
Oh, you
thing
did? I
for a
remember
while,
that. Yeah.
And it is kind of horrible.
Yeah, it's really hard to take down. I've done it for like 15 years.
Oh my gosh.
And
Right.
I use Bragg's.
Okay.
And I use this now and I like it better. And
Right.
then, so here's my other thing. Everyone is using them.
These are good.
It tastes really great.
In your afternoon, if you need something sweet, then just have 2 of those.
Okay. So I've been told a lot of things about apple cider. What do you find to be the most valuable thing within taking it? Especially
this is actually really good.
like a form like this.
Yeah.
Digestion. Like, just gets things moving.
Really? Okay.
Like, it's just, that's, especially, I don't know if you guys have this. This might sound really weird, but when you travel, you get constipated.
Yes.
And we get
Totally.
constipated because we're in a different environment and it's such an intimate part of what you do. And when you're like traveling with maybe when you go on your honeymoon, and you're like, I don't want to do that when I'm on my honeymoon, then you have more of a predictable, because then you wait 4 days and you feel awful.
Yes.
You're like,
just miserable.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're like, this honeymoon is turning out to be a shit store. Like,
Literally.
literally. So bring
that's
those.
funny.
That's my tip there.
That's a good one.
But it is appetite suppressant. Ashwagandha provides that as well.
This ashwagandha seems to have it all.
It seems to
I
have
love
it
the
all.
ashwagandha.
I'm
I
so
do.
excited to try
I need
it.
to get
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm so curious. You said that you broke it and put it in your water.
Yeah.
Is that normal, or do you usually like take the pill?
Well, so someone that works for us, she has years of experience with specifically supplements, and she'll get like this supplement that's in like the bag, and it's really hardcore. Yes, right. I'm kind of the same. Like, okay. And she said you ingest it that way. It is just think of something going in your belly, and it just releases into your system.
Okay.
Versus that plastic pill, it has to sit there for a little while. Not plastic. That's
Right.
not bad. It's not plastic.
Casing, whatever it is.
Right. Yeah. There you go. Okay.
It
Interesting.
has to sit there for a little while in order to break down, so you feel the effects faster. So I think I'm going to start doing that. Actually.
Yeah. You are giving a lot of great tips. And I feel like you have gathered a lot of like great information. And we have a segment on our show where we talk about as you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Things that maybe you shouldn't have done. Because I feel like you have so much knowledge that you have to have some times where you're like, that didn't work.
You're like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that again. But you learn from it.
But you
Something
learn from it.
memorable.
Yeah. So I'll give you one like practical business one, and then I'll give you one that happened in business, but that is like it's kind of a no-brainer. I shouldn't have done it. So the first one that is very serious is if you are going to be a founder of your company, be very diligent in who you bring into your company as a partner.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think as women, we really want to, hey, we're all coming, like, oh, I like you so much, and this is really going to work forever. And we think of it like a marriage. And like you go into it very optimistically, and you don't set yourself up appropriately for what if it goes bad.
Mm-hmm.
And you ultimately need to have like a business prenup. And so I say if there are women out there that want to start a venture, that they should first get an attorney. Find a business attorney first.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
That's great advice.
LegalZoom.com. I love having access to that. I have used it once in like my third company. But you need to talk to someone. You need to start that relationship. And if you don't have the funds to do it, I say then you need to wait and save your money.
Yeah.
And
it's that important.
Is that important?
Okay.
Yep. You can get in big trouble. Just super important to have an attorney and have everything set up the right way. And don't tell someone that you're going to give them 5% of your business. That's what I did. I told them, oh yeah, fine. You just have some of this business. Like, I so appreciate you coming on board. And then I found out I was nothing. Like it was not.
Oh no.
It was not. He didn't have what I needed him to have to help me see the business through.
Sure.
So, unfortunately, I learned the lesson hard. But there are ways to counteract that. But I would say have an attorney on your side. It's very important. Then the second thing, which is more practical, is I was working in medical devices in a marketing position, and I had flown to Cork, Ireland to meet with a group of engineers and then a physician and the upstream marketing group and to do some research. And I had packed a dress that I hadn't worn in quite a while.
Okay.
But I knew that I was going to do this tour, and then I was going to stand up. And because I was coming from the U.S., they always have you stand up and talk about yourself in front of this whole group of engineers. So my flight was delayed. It just was a really bad. I got there at 7 in the morning, and I had to be there at 9 in the morning at the plant. And I was meeting the doctor, so I opened up my suitcase, and I was literally only going to be there for 48 hours. And so I didn't pack a lot because I didn't want to lose my baggage either. So I put on this dress, and it was a little snug. Like, it was actually very snug. And
It was a little snug.
I had a suit coat on. I think it was probably... the suit coat was fine, but yeah, the dress, it was like one of the shift dresses, you know?
Sure.
Okay, yep.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, well, it's fine. Like, it's not going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
And so I'm waiting outside. It's raining. Finally, the Uber ends up coming. And in Europe, a lot of times the way to get, like, the curb is like this high, especially if you're on a coastal town. So I go down to get in the car, and the car is so low. And one of my legs is up here, and the other, I'm trying to put my rear end in the car, and the car is like this big, and I'm holding this huge bag, and I hear a, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. So I am feeling back there, and we're like on our way because this car, it was hard to get the car as it was.
Sure.
Because it was late to get it. And I'm just like, oh, is my ass showing here? Like, what's going on? So I get there, and it's just like all of these people are coming after me, and I kind of forget about it.
Oh, no.
And then I sit down again in this boardroom, and then I hear it again, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's still there.
Oh my gosh!
So we have to walk upstairs to this to the second floor to go walk around and tour where these engineers are.
Oh no.
And they're like, okay, after you, ladies first. And I start going, and suddenly this lady comes swooping in and goes right behind me and follows me up and pulls me into the bathroom. And she had a little kit.
Oh no.
Like a sewing kit.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
What a good lady.
And we sat in that bathroom. I pulled it up and we stitched it. And she saved me for the day. So that was a long story to say, try on your clothes before you travel somewhere, because your body could have changed in those 9 months or whatever it was. And especially in this COVID world, as we're in business traveling again and even leisurely traveling again, try on your clothes.
Yeah.
That was the most embarrassing thing and so clearly everyone else saw it.
But it got better.
I cannot
That's
believe
so crazy.
she was just like ready to go.
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
she just like was first off confident enough to just like pull you aside and be like, no ma'am, we're helping you.
Yeah.
And then second off, had a sewing kit.
Yeah.
Like,
She's like,
what
I
an
gotta
angel.
stitch you up. You got a little problem here. I'm like, you saw that? Oh yeah, dear, I saw it. I'm like, oh,
wow, that is a great story.
yes.
So good. I love that. I like the practical one and then like more of
Yes.
the business fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
Good balance.
Okay, so on your website, you briefly mentioned unicorn status 2026. Can you tell us what that is?
Yeah, so that's $1 billion valuation.
Okay.
So if you have an investors that the market determines your valuation of your company. So as we just look at Rent the Runway, just went public.
Oh, okay.
Bumble unicorn status, Spanx unicorn status. Sarah Blakely just sold $1.2 billion of her company.
Wow.
So that's my goal, is to be unicorn status.
Oh
The
my
healthcare
that's
company.
amazing.
I
So
love
great.
that you just put your goal on
Yes.
your website and just like, I think a lot of people are scared to do that. I think a lot of people have goals deep down in their heart and they're like, I'm going to keep working towards this. But to openly say that this is where we want to be at 2026, 2027, whenever it is, I think that's incredible.
Thank
I
you.
do too.
Yeah. And we have to. I'm actually working on goals right now for 2022 and looking at them a little differently. If you look at, if you watch Mind Valley is, there's Vishal is the CEO, and I can't pronounce his last name, but he has a lot about goal setting.
Okay.
And then he has something called OKRs, which we're implementing in our company. But the goal setting piece on personal development and personal development from an executive standpoint is, he always says, think of yourself, think of your family, then think of your company. I'm Christian, so I think of my Jesus first, and then I think of my family. But family and yourself you can't take care of your family if you're not taking care of yourself. And picturing what that self should be should really be the core of what our goal setting is. So like imagining, okay, I am going to be an executive of $1 billion company. I need to be acting like that. I need to be telling myself that. I need to be living that out, and that imagery of what that is. I picture myself as a very healthy woman. When people look at me, she's fit, she's makes good choices and lives a healthy lifestyle. So then everything that I do surrounds that image that I have in my mind of that person I want to be. Then I have the plans of how I'm going to accomplish that. And then like kind of putting that hard candy coating are the actual goals. So you have to it's not just a goal. You have to put a lot of thought into, okay, what does that $1 billion company look like? At a core, what image do we have? What products do we have? Who are we serving? And then what is that plan to attack it? And then there's that $1 billion unicorn status. And it's the same with personal development, which is something I'm working on too, because I think I was lost a little bit of who I was, and I just tried to please everyone.
Yeah.
So this is a great time of year, and especially with the the woman that I just brought in will say with the new moon and Mercury this.
Yeah.
Which I think there's a lot of truth to that. Like with there's like the red moon, and you have such amazing sunsets here in Fargo.
We do.
Yeah.
Holy cow, I love it. And the moon, and like just not having the bright lights of Minneapolis, and at the cabin I see it too. But I think there's a lot of truth to that we kind of go in ebbs and flows with what the new moon and what it's doing. But this time of year is really good for thinking of next year, because a lot of times we wait until like right after Christmas.
Yeah.
And you should already be in the mindset, like by the time you roll into Thanksgiving, you should already be in the mindset for 2022.
I love that.
I love that. That is so inspirational to me. Just the way that you laid out that, you know, if you have this person in mind that you want to be, you have to do all these things to get there. I really love how you laid that out.
Thank you. I do a lot of, so I was taking a lot of mental space, getting like self-sabotaging. And I would self-sabotage, and then I would wake up and I'd be like, oh my gosh, like, oh, you did that again. Why did you eat that? Why did you drink that? Oh, you didn't work out yesterday. So I was taking those like very precious moments of the day when you first wake up and like being really hard on myself.
Yeah.
And so where was I? Why? I was just self-sabotaging. And so I'm new at this, like 10 days in.
Okay.
11 days in, maybe. And I can already see a difference with not taking that. I think of it as like the back of my head. And I've always struggled with weight, of like being up and down. And, you know, after you have kids and as you get older, it just is even more challenging. And then running a company. And I have 3 family members, and actually that one over there, they aren't the healthiest of eaters. And it's really frustrating to me because we love spicy chicken sandwiches. So there was a time frame that, like, yes, why wouldn't I have a spicy chicken sandwich with waffle fries, like for every meal? Well, no, why would I do that? So then I beat myself up about it, and I think we need to be kind to ourselves in that, but we need to have discipline. And like for me, the imagery of that person, of what I want her to be. And it even helps, oh, well, that person wouldn't even react like that, you know, to someone, if someone makes a comment to you or whatever it is. Think of, like, take 5 seconds. That's what Mel Robinson, Mel Robbins, Tony Robbins' wife.
Yeah.
It's the 5 seconds. Like, make the decision in 5 seconds. That's helped me too.
Yeah.
So you said you're 10 days in. What different lifestyle habits have you changed?
So one, I actually am doing journaling in the morning. I've always journaled. I have tons of notes and journals, but being very intentional of writing out every day how I'm feeling.
Okay.
The other thing is I actually am not drinking right now, and that has helped me because we are social and we have people over at our house or I'll go somewhere, and I'm just already a social person, so I don't need to worry. I don't know why I was drinking. I don't know why I felt like I needed 2 glasses of wine. Actually, I know why, because it helped me sort of break the day. Okay, I'm going to leave that at work, and now I'm just going to be home and relax. But it was actually disconnecting me, and then the mental fog that I felt from it. So that's the biggest one for me. I have a really big mental fog. And then, you know, if I wouldn't wake up in the morning, or I wouldn't, you know, have as good of workout. And that has been the biggest thing for me is doing that. And then it's as simple, like a green smoothie. I love green smoothies. I have a Vitamix. I don't know why I haven't had one in a year. Like, I don't know what I did with. It's been a year since I started, and then now I'm doing them again. I'm like, these are awesome. Like,
so good.
Yeah. Like, why am I not doing this? So it's just being smart about that kind of stuff and intentional, and like that imagery. And then even writing things down and putting up like, you are a leader, you make an impact, you are doing things that no one else has ever done before. Own that and be confident in it. And I think when I would come home at 5 and then I'd cook dinner, I like to cook and sort of do that homemaking stuff. I would drink too much. So like I would have 2 glasses of wine and it probably wasn't the healthiest thing.
Yeah.
So
I get that.
It works for it works for most people.
Yeah.
But for me, and I come from my mom's an alcoholic.
Sure.
And so I just, that has been my biggest change.
So how long have you done that for and noticed that change?
So I've stopped drinking many times. And
Okay.
I mean, once, when you're pregnant, I have 3 kids. So 3 times I've done that. But there has been always times, so I was raised Catholic, and I'm not Catholic anymore, but if you think of Lent, giving it up for your 40 days, and you can give it up if you're Catholic or not, but then there was a year that I didn't drink. I was vegan part of that year.
Oh, okay.
So I like tried different things.
Yeah.
And I would go for a really long time, and I would have really, I did yoga all the time, and I had a yoga business that we had yoga towels, and I still have them actually. I'm just giving them to Crystal at Hot Yogis. She just opened her
Yes,
studio by me.
we love Crystal.
So is it open now, the new one?
Open. I'm going
right.
for
So
the first
amazing.
time tomorrow.
Good.
We gotta go.
Tell us how it is. I can't wait to see it. It looks beautiful, the
Oh
building.
my gosh, right?
Yeah.
And I guess the heat is really good and
Nice.
the humidity is really good. So I'm bringing her yoga towels. I had 6 yoga towels. I had this yoga spray. And during that time, that was just all me. And I was selling medical devices at the same time.
Okay.
I was too busy to even have any social life or anything.
Yeah.
And we had moved during that time too. So there's been quite a few times that I've taken it in and out of my life.
Yeah.
And also I think it's one of those things like you never want, like, can I prove to myself that I can?
Totally.
It's like a marathon.
Yes.
I totally agree.
Do you agree?
Yes.
You
Yes. I
understand
have
that?
tried
Totally.
dry January.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
Yeah.
And I think exactly what you said with the whole, coming home and separating yourself.
Yes.
It's not the actual substance and
Yeah.
like the drink. It's what we have associated it
Yeah.
with. So
Yeah.
Totally.
yeah, that is interesting. I was just curious on
Yeah.
kind of what that process has looked like, because I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah. And drink coffee instead. Like I love it when I take like my third sip of red wine and I can like feel that, I like feel it.
Yeah.
And it is weird. I was cooking the other night and I just thought, I should open a bottle of wine. Oh wait. And I was literally in this mental place of like I just saw myself like walking to a place of relaxation. And it was because I was starting to think of something that was giving me stress in the business, that like I'm up against things that are challenging.
Yeah.
And I literally was going there of, okay, I want to release.
Yeah.
It was so strange. And so like me being this in tune with myself, I've never been like this ever in my life.
And do you think that's from that journaling that you're doing in the morning?
Yeah, probably that. Maybe the ashwagandha too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Journaling,
A little bit of both.
ashwagandha, good to go.
No drinking. Yeah, it is. And my exercise has been really good. Have you guys ever tried the Nordic track that has a 40%
No.
incline? Oh my gosh. So I got it last year and we love it and everyone in the family uses it except my husband. He does not use it.
Okay.
And Lily doesn't use it either. She will at some time.
Like, you do what?
But I've been climbing. And so I will want to do 2,000 vertical feet a day. And I just came up this morning. I'm like, maybe I should climb a mountain sometime. But I don't know.
That's
if
cool.
mountain is,
Yes,
right? Like
that's
maybe.
really cool.
Because I've been trying to think of, I don't want to run another marathon. It's just not fun. They're lame. Have either of you run a marathon?
I've ran
No,
like
but my
a
stepdad
5K
did.
and that was not even fun.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Marathons are just, one to train.
Yeah.
It's awful, but everyone puts it on their list
Of something
because
to do.
it's something to do. So now I'm like, I don't know what to do for like that physical goal, like an adventure goal.
You should do like a Tough Mudder.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun either, though.
Yeah,
because
I think a mountain would
like
be cool.
getting
A
all
mountain would be
dirty.
cool. Yeah,
that
no.
doesn't like rolling. That just sounds gross to me.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the tents after marathons. It's really gross. So this is what happens: you run your marathon. You're like, yes, totally did it. Like, I'm gonna go celebrate, and then you get in this tent, and you're cold as hell because you suddenly have stopped. And then you have to take all of your clothes off and you shove it in this bag. And it's almost like you're like cattle. And they're like handing you this bag. And there's women taking it, whipping off their
Weird.
clothes. And it's like naked people everywhere.
What?
Yeah, and I'm
Really?
just not that
In
type
like
of
Fargo?
girl. I have never run the Fargo
Oh, I
marathon.
suppose. Yeah, you're from the city, so my bad. But I was like, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, like there's a
Weird.
women's tent and a man's tent.
Okay.
So women.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's not
Got
like
Okay, Paige and I are like,
You're like-
there's naked people in
There's
there.
some things going
what's going on here?
That is so
Teasing.
funny.
Oh, funny.
So I don't know what I'm going to do there. But I think climbing a mountain.
I think
or something.
climbing a mountain would
I
be
think that would
awesome.
be amazing.
Or I want Crystal to do a yoga retreat, and then I'm going to help her do it.
Yes.
And be like an executive yoga retreat.
Please invite us.
Yeah.
We would love to come.
Right?
Get us on the list.
Costa Rica.
Okay.
Right?
I'll be
Say
there
less.
tomorrow.
We'll be
Or
there.
Mexico, like Tulum, like a little north of Tulum.
Honestly, anywhere.
Yeah.
All of these
You're like,
places.
yes.
I don't need convincing. I
Yeah.
will be there.
Same. Buy me a ticket, sign me up. I'm there.
Yes and yes.
All right.
That's funny. Okay, so we have a really fun game.
Yes.
And
we do.
this is a surprise.
Okay.
We didn't prep you for it at all. So, at-home remedy or at-home regret. So, we're kind of going to give you like different scenarios, and
Okay.
then you can either tell us if it's regret or remedy.
Oh, I like this
yeah,
game.
This is
okay.
a lot focused kind of around the strep
Okay.
process. Just
Great.
because that is kind of, where you started. So thinking, strep, sore throat, everything we're going to be experiencing probably in the next couple of months because we are entering that time of year.
Yes.
So, first potential option, gargling salt water.
Oh, that's remedy.
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 Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so a hot toddy if you're over the age of 21.
Yeah.
So the honey, the whiskey,
Yeah.
spices.
Yeah. That's remedy.
Okay.
Yep.
And that is correct. I did not know that.
So my friend that is from Russia, from Ukraine, it's a long story, but when they're sick, they have a little shot of like a whiskey, and that's what they took.
Really?
Oh my
That is
gosh.
so interesting
Wow.
to me.
Cool.
All right. Well, similar feel I feel like you would get from this is eating spicy food.
For a remedy of strep? No. Cap.
Correct.
You're like, no.
Yeah.
Right away, no.
It's like one of the first
That
things.
sounds
Do
awful.
not eat spicy food.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun.
Which really would stink for me. I love spicy
I
food.
know, me
so
too.
I
Like
actually didn't
hot
know
wings.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ooh.
hot
Okay.
wings? Yes.
So yes.
But
Yeah.
hot wings are a regret if you're trying to recover.
Yeah, no. That doesn't sound good.
Using a humidifier.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Totally. Yes.
I
Remedy.
remember
Remedy.
using that growing up all the time.
Yes.
Because like I always had really dry nose.
Yes.
And just the skin.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have it too for Lily, for sure. And I like it, and it's good for your skin.
Yeah. Okay, so gargling apple cider vinegar with caution.
Oh, gargling? Mm-hmm. Well, I have a friend who does it, ultra runner. She uses apple cider vinegar on everything.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, you've got a pimple? Apple cider vinegar. Your butt hurts? Apple cider vinegar." Like, so I would say, yeah, remedy.
Remedy? Okay.
Do it because it
Perfect.
has. Your tonsils are super porous. So if you have bacteria in there, and there are people that will not have an antibiotic because they don't want antibiotics do crazy things to our body.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of people that won't use it, and so apple cider vinegar is something that they use.
Interesting.
That's really
okay.
I've also heard, side note, that you can do a lot of cleaning with it. Too,
Yes,
correct?
tons.
Okay.
Tons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I've heard of if you do gargle or you swish it in your mouth for like a number of minutes, then when you take it out, like spit it out, and then you scrape your tongue. There's a whole, and I have done that. There's a whole bunch of crap that comes out your tongue.
I kind of want to try that.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that.
Yes.
You can do this
immediately when we're done with this
with coconut oil, and you do coconut oil.
I had done that for a long
minutes.
time.
Yeah, it's just hard to keep it in your mouth that long.
It really is.
It's really slimy, and then it starts to like come here.
In college, I had read somewhere something about like sloshing coconut oil was like a detoxifying treatment.
Yeah,
and it was not fun.
I always gargle with hydrogen peroxide.
Oh yeah,
What?
Yeah, it is because that's like the active
Gargle?
ingredient. Yeah,
In
like
Listerine.
mouthwash. Yeah,
No way.
but it expands. So when you, I'm sure, when you gargle, it expands. So you can't do it for very long, and then you spit it out. It has a little bit of a weird aftertaste, but you're fine. Like you don't get sick.
I have never heard of that.
Dentists
really
say
clean.
that. Yeah.
Wow.
that's what they have you do now when you go to the dentist. Like after COVID, they have you clean.
That's that?
Yeah,
I thought it was mouthwash.
and maybe it is at your dentist.
It's like
Ours
the cheap.
was-
I mean, Costco, you can get like a 2-pack for
Yes.
$5. I don't know.
It is
But yeah.
the cheap version of mouthwash.
Yeah.
You are absolutely right.
I don't use that because I'm a cheap ass.
I was like, of course Paige knows what that is.
It's just moving on. Moving on. Okay.
All right, we got two more.
Two
for you.
more.
So, laying down immediately after eating.
I don't know. Should I be doing that? I would say it is not a remedy. It is, what is the opposite of?
A regret.
A regret.
That
Yeah,
would be a
you are
regret.
correct.
Yeah.
like
you want to get things moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see that is such a simple thing that I'm like, I definitely do that.
Lay down.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Every man does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Totally.
doesn't pick up the girl. He's like, I will go watch Fox News right now. I'm like, really? Because there's the whole kitchen that needs to be
Like,
cleaned.
thanks a lot.
Yeah. Or not.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. Drinking orange juice.
No. Not
No.
a remedy.
No. Why?
There's just so much sugar.
Okay.
And if you have, so orange juice, this is really interesting. When I was in my vegan years, I read there's so much research on the types, the processed foods that we eat. And with orange juice, they literally have huge vats of the orange pulp,
Okay.
like the concentrate.
Yeah.
And it's there for like a year. And then they just add
What?
water.
Oh my God.
What?
Yeah, so
That's
just
so
look
bad.
up. Okay, that, and here's another surprising thing that's always on the top of my mind. Tilapia. Tilapia, literally, the tilapia fish eat other fish's poop. That's what they live on. And
Gross.
then, yeah, like at the farms. So research those two things. Google those two facts.
Salmon is good though, right?
Fresh salmon, wild salmon.
Yeah.
I can tell the difference of farm versus wild. Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll
I
eat
don't think I
the...
could. I don't know.
I
I
bet
feel
you
like
could.
it's, yeah.
You can tell an Alaskan salmon versus a farm.
Really?
For sure.
I didn't even know there was two options. I thought they were all the same.
Yeah. Wild versus farm.
Okay, this is now something I'm
I
going to pay attention
cannot
to.
believe that about orange juice. I'm a little bummed out because I love mimosas. Just a
Yeah.
little bit of splash of
Yeah.
orange juice, but
Yeah.
still.
Oh, yeah, you can have it.
I mean, a little
Still
bit.
probably
have
gonna-
it. I
yeah.
mean, it's fine. It just is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Just Google it and then read more about it.
Sure.
And that's where, those are sort of the things on Checkable that we're bringing out there of, hey, have you ever thought of orange juice?
Yeah. These are things we need
I
to
can't
know.
wait till you guys start your podcast
Yeah.
and your blog. Well, you already have a blog, right?
Yeah, so we have a blog,
Okay.
and I have a podcast, the Persevere podcast, but that's very business
Okay.
focused.
Cool.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we're talking about all things business.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
where the Wellness Essential podcast is more like this, more approachable, more storytelling, and connecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, look at you with all the options.
I'm
That's
so glad that
incredible.
we met you. This
Yeah.
is just so great.
Yeah, it's super
so
fun.
Yeah.
fun.
Absolutely.
Please tell everyone where they can find you, how they can connect, get involved.
Yep. So I'm very active on LinkedIn. So Patty Post I'm on LinkedIn. And then on Instagram would be my next one. So that's Patty Post MN. and it's Patty with a Y.
Okay.
And then just I would go to Checkable Wellness right now. We do have a 25% discount. And if you use the code Cup of Queens, then we have a discount for your listeners
Awesome.
of 25%. Yeah.
Get that ashwagandha, people.
Yes.
We talked enough
Pair
about
it with
Yeah.
the collagen, you'll be set.
Yes.
We'll
my
link
fave.
everything.
I love it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's really
so
fun.
great.
Yes. Cheers to you,
Cheers.
and
Yes.
thank you
Cheers.
for bringing us some good health.
Yes.